estudiantes, so here's video 3. In this video I'm going to explain E to I stem change verbs. Now, last chapter we got E to IE verbs like querer and cerrar, and most of those verbs were E to IE. These verbs are going to change the E, but it's going to change to I. So, here's what those verbs are. Pedir, to ask for, and servir, to serve. Okay, now again, the stem is the part minus the IR. So this is the stem, and that's the ending. Stem, ending. Okay, so IR is the ending, ped and serve is the stem. So I'm going to do the verb pedir, to ask for. So I'm hoping you now know that this is yo. So yo, PED changes to PID. PID, O, to PIDES, because it's an IR verb. El, ella, usted, PIDE, that's a D, sorry. Okay. Nosotros is back to not changing. So PED, now because it's an IR verb, it's IMOS. So that's kind of tricky because normally it's I then E. Nosotros is E then I. So because the stem doesn't change because it's nosotros, and because it's an IR verb, it has an IMOS. Remember, the IR verbs only have I's in nosotros and vosotros, which is also the only two that don't stem change. So it's kind of interesting there. Vosotros pedís. Make that accent pretty clear. Make this dot pretty clear. The only grade I'm taking this week will be the Socrative, and spelling counts and accents count. So, and you can't fudge on Socrative because it's either an accented letter I or it's not an accented letter I. So, it's only vosotros that has an accent. Okay. Ellos, ellas, ustedes is PIDEN. Alright, so let me show you the stem change. E to I, and yo, to, el, ellos, but not in nosotros and vosotros. So if you want, there is your shoe. Okay, servir does the same thing, except it's SERV rather than P and D. Okay, now, one thing I get asked by a lot of people is, how do you know if it stem changes from E to IE or if it stem changes from E to I? Well, basically the only two ways is practicing it and memorizing it. So the nice thing about it is in this chapter, we're only doing E to I stem changes, and the only two ones that we've learned that stem change E to I is pedir and servir. So what I would do is I would memorize those two, because there's a whole lot more verbs that do E to IE. There's fewer that do E to I. So learn these two, pedir and servir, and right now just remember that those are the two that change E to I. We won't do any in this chapter that are E to IE. So we did E to IE last chapter, so now we're dealing only with the E to I change verbs. Now, how do you know whether the verb does this? Because some verbs don't even stem change at all. When it's presented to you in your book, you're not going to be able to see this, but if you look at the actual book or you look at your actual list, you'll see a parentheses with a UE at the end, or you'll see a parentheses with an I, and that indicates that it stem changes and what the stem change is. So that's how you first learn about it, and then how do you know that it does it? You see it in context, or your teacher practices with you several times. But how you know is when you get the list or your book, you'll see the IE in parentheses there.